But first, two things. And I'll start with something that's really starting to scare me. War, maybe even World War III, right on our doorstep. Now, I've told you before how Chinese dictator Xi Jinping has been ramping up China's aggression, China's nationalism, picking fights not just with Australia, but with India, now with Vietnam, and with Japan over islands claimed by them both, and especially threatening Taiwan, which it wants to take back very soon, just like it's taken back Hong Kong and crushed it, shut down democracy in Hong Kong, ended free speech. Now, I've told you before that President Xi last year warned his army to prepare for war, presumably war with Taiwan, and any country that tries to defend it. Well, since Joe Biden replaced Donald Trump as president, China has stepped up what seems to be its preparations for war. It's almost as if it smells a weakness. Yesterday, President Xi told his military, be prepared for complex and difficult situations. Last week, his defense minister said China must comprehensively improve military training and preparedness for battle. The great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation is at a critical stage. Now, to ignore these warnings, to dismiss them as just bluster, that would be a very big mistake, of the kind that the West made with Adolf Hitler in the 1930s. But in fact, the Admiral in charge of the US Indo-Pacific Fleet, Philip Davidson, now says this is very serious. He says, I worry that China is accelerating their ambitions to supplant the United States and our leadership role in the rules-based international order by 2050. Taiwan, he says, is clearly one of their ambitions before that. And I think the threat is manifest during this decade. In fact, in the next 6 years. So in 6 years, there could be a war just to our north. China versus Taiwan, possibly with the US. We might get dragged in. Do we look remotely ready for any war, do you think? This, by the way, is why the US is now holding meetings of what's called the Quad, countries which see China as the common threat, the US, Australia, Japan and India. Now, you might well ask, why would China think that Joe Biden is too weak for them to worry much about? And I would say to you that you are talking about what you can see too, a very old man who cannot even remember the name of his own defense secretary.
I want to thank the former general, I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there.
And you see a man who at times in public looks unfocused, confused, bewildered, whose handlers seem desperate to protect him from journalists wanting comments from him.
I see him. Yeah. And then we also have
Don't jump. We need you.
And then if I could just...
Come on, Fred. We're going to move out. Let's go. Let's go, you guys. Come on.
And you were talking about a president who has not dared to hold a press conference in his first 50 days, when every other president in the past century held one within 33 days of being president. In fact, this president's handlers even cut off his video feed rather than let him embarrass himself by trying to answer questions.
And I'm happy to take questions if that's what I'm supposed to do, Nance, whatever you want me to do.
The media helped to chase Donald Trump out of the White House. In Trump's place is now a president who China figures is much, much weaker. And the result? We may soon be in very grave danger.